I couldn't explain why, right? I can't say a particular reason, but headed in to do back today, which I'm going to do a combo lift of weight session plus cardio right after. Normally I'd say cardio in the morning, lift later, but dieting down, especially as long as it's done throughout the day at some point, you're pretty much good. Like I don't need to be super specific with my timing. Like when it comes to fasted cardio, I don't think you're magically going to get leaner than doing cardio at 8 o'clock or after your workout. Those are like micro details. We're more concerned with the macro details of, did I do my cardio? Did I hit my workout? And did I track all my calories and stay in my limit? And as long as those three gets done, it doesn't matter if you're a 5 a.m. lift kind of guy, or if you like hitting a late one at 9 o'clock. Bulking, I'm always going to love a later workout, or at least, a workout where I've eaten at like 4 full-size meals, so I'm full of carbs and I can really get after it. But dieting down, you're never full of carbs, right? So if I'm always running on low carb, I don't need to wait until 9 o'clock at night to hit a lift, because I'm already, if anything, that might set me up to eat too much, because then I'm going to come home from my workout extra hungry from, obviously having working out, and then that's the end of the day. I don't have a lot of food left in my, in my calories, and then, well, shit, man, that's just a prime situation for overdoing it, for overeating, for just getting some grub in your system. But no, beyond mentally feeling good, my adductors are completely destroyed. I've never felt soreness like this before in my adductors. That's that inside of your thigh, the muscle that, like, if you're sitting down, squeeze your legs together and then feel what tenses up. That's your adductor. Because 2 days ago for hamstrings, I just did like 5 sets of hamstring curls and then like 8 sets of adductors. Pretty heavy, like enough to feel it burn, but not like insane. Like it wasn't anything wild. And like last night I could barely sleep. Like if I laid down flat, it was just like I had to keep flipping over from side to side because one adductor was like getting more tender than the other. So I think I kind of asked for that because I haven't hit them for a little while, at least not extra hard. Usually I just throw them in a little bit with a leg day as a kind of a warm-up. But yeah, that was, yeah, like even sitting here right now, like not even moving my legs together, but like starting to activate them, like this is rough. Like this morning, that was, I've had sore legs from crazy leg days off season. The actual feeling of walking over to the bathroom, like sitting down, that freaking sucked. But no, they're, so yeah, I got a little bit of delayed onset muscle soreness from that. And that's okay, right? Especially dieting down, I would kind of expect that. I'm not eating a zillion grams of everything, so I can't like instantly recover. But plan for today with back, I think I'll just see, right? I think I'll just see what I'm, last back day was a little bit more row focused, if I remember. So maybe this back day I'll focus a little more on pull downs. But, I don't have to be so particular with it. Like maybe if when I think back, I don't really have a workout in mind that's like my go-to. I do with chest. In chest and quads, even triceps, I've got some habits where I come in with an idea of what the workout looks like, but it's usually similar. Chest, typically warm up, start with a few sets of heavy pressing, maybe do some flies, maybe finish with squeezing light pressing, or flip the two where I go heavy pressing to squeezing pressing, then end with flies. Triceps, so far very recently has always been rope extensions first, because they're just a really good warm-up, like light squeezing, burning. I don't even have to go that heavy, so my elbows aren't tender. And then after 2 or 3 sets of that, I'm totally warm and I can do a heavy set and it feels good. Quads, pretty similar, leg extensions. Then when I'm bulked up, I'll usually just start doing either a squat or a Smith squat or a bunch of leg press. and then finish with some leg extensions to burn out. But back, I just kind of, whatever. I come in, I'm going to warm up just by grabbing the D handle. Like instantly, except for legs, my warm up is always the same. Or at least it starts very similar. So anything upper body is always walking straight to a cable, throw a D handle up to eye level, and then just get things moving. Rotator cuff, back, chest, take a few steps back and do like some curls and some push downs. Just get this whole setup moving around. And then usually in the process of doing that is when I decide, all right, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? Get a little bit of a feel for the space, who's where, who's using what. Is everybody doing back today? Okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more particular and jump on a piece of equipment once it opens. That's kind of my premeditative warm-up. Just playing around with the cables, getting everything loose and kind of activated. So that's when I'll really know what I want to start with. Because maybe I might want to start with single arm cable pull downs, maybe change it up. I don't really do bent over dumbbell rows very much. I don't like that it puts a torque on your abs, because then it's just, I want to be very isolated. But I still like them every so often. The squeeze is really good, especially for your lower lat. So, we'll just see. But yeah, I definitely feel solid. So since I'm going to combine cardio with the lift, I'm going to finish back. Shouldn't take more than 45 minutes-ish. Pose down, and then go back up and camp out on either the seated bike or just a regular one. I'm looking to see if I can get one in the private gym, and then I also want to see if there's a cool. I'm scanning around to throw a sauna in there, just because that'd be solid up in that kind of second level section. But yeah, that'll be good. So I'm gonna I got a few things going on now. I'm gonna make a post about a good Q&A. Next couple days, do full day eating, plus a little bit of a grocery trip. So this won't exactly line up for the 1,000th YouTube video that I've posted, but we're getting close. I think it's going to be November 20-something is going to be the 1,000th lift special, which I'll probably just make it a normal lift. But that's something. 1,000 lifts, 1,000 posts, especially for the YouTube videos. That's something. But we're going to coincide that with a Instagram photo and reel contest. So I think we'll just have to make that run until the end of November, so that it's a full month or so. But the basic rules are going to be, just we got a hashtag. I think it's hashtag. So yeah, make an Instagram post, either just one photo or a reel, with the hashtag Sam Sulik merch, and it can be anything, as long as it has the only other caveat to that is it has to have one of the shirts or a shaker bottle or a hat somehow involved. And then over the course of that 30 days, we'll probably, maybe a little more, I think it'll be good to take this to the end of November. We'll scan through all the posts with that hashtag and pick the top 3. And then out of those top 3, we'll pick the best one. And it's not, we're not going to do something where it's like-based, because what if somebody with a big following just makes a funny post? Obviously, they're going to get more likes than, somebody else, just because they've got more social media engagement. So likes and engagement isn't the criteria. It's kind of just overall quality. And then we'll do I think we'll do a little bit of a poll where we can get the general consensus of what's best. But at the end, we'll end up picking a winner. And then kind of to tie into commemorating with the 1,000th YouTube video, each of those winners will get a $1,000 gift card. Plus, we're going to do a whole box of just all sorts of signed stuff. And I'll throw some extra stuff in there too, little, maybe a few things from the gym. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll make it fancy. So yeah, Sam Sulik merch. If you've already got a shirt or a hoodie or something, then you're ahead of the game, because you could make your post earlier than everybody else if somebody wanted to order something. But that'll be the plan. So try not to. And then half the reason that we're going to do no likes, likes isn't the only criteria, is just because people could also bot likes. That's not cool. But yeah, that'll. So I'll put up an Instagram story about that too. maybe make that little announcement a little bit more concise. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all. So let's just get in there and get started. Let's change it up. Normally I'm thinking let's start with a pull down or let's start with a row. Let's pick option C, start with a pullover. So 5 reps each side, alternating, you know, nothing crazy. The whole point of this one is just a squeezing, burning starter. Like, you know, it's like how I start triceps with rope extensions, half the stack, hold it, burn it. And then, you know, maybe 1 or 2 of these, move on to a row, and I'm already warm and I really get after it. So it's just a good change up. Yeah, 1 more of those. As a starter, that was freaking sweet. Yeah, 1 more and then move on to a more classic move. Oh man. Let's pick something else. And really I could do anything. Honestly, I feel good for a row, pull down. Let's just see what speaks to me. Alright, this pull down sack is on the lighter end, but the strength curve of it is nice. It doesn't feel so 1-to-1 as like a regular pull down. So this will be a light squeezing set. A hold when I'm strong, full reps once I get a little weaker, and then just burn out with some partials. Oh, yeah. 2 more of those I think will be good. And then I think that would mean a row will come next. Yeah.
Okay. One more like that. Okay. Oh my goodness, all right. Let's move on. Plan here is gonna be V-bar, or what is this? Is this a V-bar? Is this a row bar? Because the V-bar is for push downs. But either way, I'm gonna start with squeezing pull downs, drop the weight to floor height, and then switch to rows. So the stack is not much weight here. Like I could do a single arm pull down. This one arm would be too heavy, so it's a good middle ground, I think, at least for today. So if this is a good combo, 2 of these sets could be it. I really do like the synergy of like a row immediately into a pull down, or a pull down immediately into a row, especially as the last movement, because then your whole back is fully pumped. I don't have to, like, you know, walk to the mirror and say, ooh, my mid back has got it going, but my lats feel a little, it's a good ender, I feel. All right. 2. Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Okay. One more of those. Actually, that's light enough. I don't need straps. Okay. Ooh, all right. Let's go post down. That was a good back day. Very dense. Oh, I got this. All right, so mind the windedness. I did just finish that last set. But this is what I want to see. There's no posing, there's no lat spreading. Like, I'll pull my shirt in just for, like, you know, added effect. But, you know, we'll tuck here. Like, this is, oh my goodness. That's just standing. So, oh man, yeah, we're getting somewhere. No. Yeah, that's probably the coolest part, just being able to see all those extra lines really spreading out. Yeah, that's good. I'm not one to like a shirtless lift, but I don't know, especially for rows, I think that would look pretty cool, just a back angle, seeing everything tighten up. But then you're kind of distracted mid-workout because you're thinking about how you look, and like, you know, I'm already distracting myself a little bit by bringing you guys with me every time. So I try to do that as quick as possible. Like, this is how it looks, usually between sets. Oh, okay, that's a good one. Camera off. Put it over here, change the angle, chill, and then get ready for another one. So I don't want to feel like I'm like if this took away from the workouts, the daily lifts would be impossible. Like I'd do like one a week, but no, this is probably the freakiest back pump so far of this dieting phase. So let's just see how it's looking. Oh man. Whew. All right. I'm happy with that. So the leaner that I get, the more apparent this, like, see those kind of lines on my lower back, the more apparent those will become. And that's a good test. That's a good test of your leanness. Like, even though it's only 180, if I was cut up, I could still see those starting to show up. Like, don't think that you have to be a 260-pound dude to see that kind of grain. You know, sure, size becomes a pretty substantial component, but dude, if you're peeled 170, whatever, you're gonna see tricep striations. You're gonna see lat veins. You're gonna see chest fibers. At least, you know, after you've got a certain amount of development. That's where the angle of muscle maturity comes in. Because the more you lift, even if year by year you're not necessarily much bigger, the muscle that you do have just gets a better, I don't know, it's hard to just, like, that would be something that'd be pretty interesting. Would be able to have a really grainy, like, seasoned bodybuilder get his muscle fibers, like, examined and compared under a microscope to a guy who's still just as big but isn't as grainy, because I'm sure it's a bit of a genetic component, but I think there's it just kind of comes with lifting. Like, if once, you know, fast forward a couple weeks, even now I see it a little, but like if I do a hard quad flex, especially on the left side, way more than the right, I can get some feathering, which is like where your quad fibers are going this way, but there's little like details along the side of it. So it's like, you know, you're a sapling, your bark is very smooth, but then the bigger you get, your bark just gets a little rougher. You know, that's kind of how I like to think about it. But let's pack this stuff up. I'm gonna go camp out in the cardio bike for 30 minutes, then I'll see you in the car.
All right, there we go. Yeah, for those, I just thought of a good little self-asking question. What's my biggest fear? What is my biggest fear? Existentially, I think my biggest fear is fast forwarding in time to future self me and thinking, you know, having to think like, man, I didn't do jack. Like, man, I slacked off. But on a more day-by-day basis, spiders are pretty freaky. Like, it's just fucking, like, they're too strange to be kind of like normal. Like, a scorpion is kind of dangerous because they might get you, like, just, you know, imagining. But like spiders are just fucking, at least bigger ones. A little spiders, whatever, you know, no problem. But that's yeah, that's up there. But that's healthy, right? I don't have any irrational fears. Like, I'm not extra afraid of anything more than the next guy, I think. I'm definitely not afraid of doing my cardio. Like, those 30 minutes passed like nothing. Just pop a squat, pedal. I already had my heart rate up from doing the full back day first. So to sit and like get going, like I'm already there. I'm already up at zone whatever I was aiming for. I think I'd have to look it up. It's like, I think it's zones 1 through 4, maybe 1 through 5. And like whichever one the top one is, like zone 5 or 4, is like full-blown sprint, complete exertion, like, you know, no holds barred. And zone 1 is like barely above baseline. Like zone 1 is like your heart rate while you're walking versus while you're sitting, resting. and it just kind of scales from there. So I don't really track my heart rate. I don't follow it like that. But I mean, I'm around like 130, 140 when I'm on the bike, and it's, you know, it's enough where to have a conversation gets a little tricky. Like if I'm sitting, it'll be, you know, with some extra huffs between breaths, but not so crazy that I'm actually like, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. Like cardio gets, a lot of things are very, like, what's the word? There's a lot of preconceptions, especially from like TV shows and movies, about what the gym is. When we think of the gym, people think of the Cobra gym, or whatever it's called, from Dodgeball. Or they think of that other Wahlberg movie that I have not watched, but I know I should watch, with The Rock. Like that's their conception of what the gym is. And cardio, all the freaking guys who are running up and down the street in your city, the guys who put the tight cycling suits on and they're blocking traffic, like that's what people think of when they think cardio. Dieting, chicken, rice, torturing yourself, that's what they think of when they think dieting. Like it's not like that, you know? So it's, but you know, if you're making a TV show or a movie about something, that's what you're gonna kind of play into. It's like, all right, you know, Rocky's getting real. He's gonna wake up at 5 a.m. and run through the city when he's freaking got a sweatsuit on and he's freaking, like, you know, it's not like that. It's much more chill, and it's not so drastic. Like that's probably my favorite part about working out as a activity, because I mean, you know, for long-term progress or for legit gains, it demands consistency. But it doesn't, you know, there's not a lot of pressure, right? Like, there's not a ton of pressure when it comes to working out. There's no, like, you're not competing. Like, I guess if you're a bodybuilder, you're competing. But there's no competition. You don't have to, like, there's no one day where you wake up in, like, a cold sweat and you're like, oh, fuck, today's the day I gotta bring it. Like, it's, you know, that's not it. You can have off days. You can have days where your diet kind of gets thrown out the window, as long as you get back on track afterward, and you're still tracking all your stuff. I mean, I've had crazy cheat days before when I'm dieting down, and you know, not often, like once every month and a half, but you know, as long as for 95% of the time you're on your stuff, well then you're kind of good, you know. So I like that is, it's just a little bit lower stakes. So you can make the stakes yourselves. Like you can add that pressure of, okay, I want to really make this workout count. And it's, you know, it's just this internal drive rather than like an external pressure, if you kind of follow me. You know, like if you're on a football team, or if you're wrestling, or you know, whatever, it's probably a little bit harder for individual sports too. It's like, okay, practice, all right, I do. And then you get to be in a position where you say, like, all right, I did everything I could. Now I just got to bring it, you know. Or you try to like give yourself a Mamba mentality of like, I'm gonna win this shit. You know, you don't even think about losing, or you know, whatever you might think about. But no, man, you know, getting your cardio done, tracking your calories like that, that's just a regular day. You know, so if you can make that a regular day, if you can make that your baseline normal, well then you're just making gains passively, because you're doing what you do every day like normal, and then over time you're just progressing slowly but surely. You know, so that's where I want to be. Like, I like the idea of like seeing things in their natural habitat. You know, if you look at an eagle up in the sky flying around, you're not thinking, holy crap, how the hell is he doing that? That's just what he does, man. You know, so if there's a guy in your gym who is locked in and he's serious, he's goofing off, he's a nice guy, but he still gets his work done, and he's going hard, and he brings it. Well then, you know, from an outside perspective, especially for someone who's not as into the gym, they're going to look at that and be like, oh man, he's so focused, he's so disciplined, he's so like, well, no man, for him, he's in his element. He's having fun. The harder he goes, the more fun it is. Like, it's not and that's another thing too about just the fitness in general is, it's got this conception of like just fucking pain and sacrifice and like, oh man, you gotta, like, as if there's no room for fun and enjoyment in the process. So that's not how I like it. Like, I don't want somebody yelling at me. I don't want like I'm coming in the gym to have fun for me, because this is my thing. If it didn't feel like fun, I wouldn't want to do it, you know. So that's where I guess I can't really tell somebody how to have more fun beyond just, you know, if you sleep well and you stay hydrated, you're probably going to feel good in the gym. And then, you know, I think it definitely helps to have people to look up to. Like when I started working out, oh my God, when I started working out, I was watching a bunch of Callum Moger videos and a bunch of Juji Mufu. I was watching all the Juji videos with Clarence Kennedy. Like, just the idea that I could do the same things as these guys, not in terms of like videos. Videos were not even on my mind when I started working out. But like the idea that, you know, I could squat really heavy, or that I could do a little more, like I could do flips and stuff, like, you know, on a diving board while being big too. Like, it's, you know, so that's the fun of it for me, right? Being able to see some examples of people who I was like, that's pretty fucking cool, I want to do that. And then just, you know, using that as a starting point to work your way up, you know. So whatever you want to get into, be it more of a CrossFit or athletic kind of like, what's it called? Like calisthenics kind of guy, or just straight up bodybuilder. You know, maybe you love just the really heavy side of things, and you're watching, you know, I'm pretty sure he's British, Jordan Peters. I don't think it's Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peters. It might be Peterson. I don't know. But not that Jordan Peterson. I'm talking about the bodybuilder. He's fucking just huge. Or you're watching, why can't I think of his name? Oh, crap. Josh. I don't know. Another guy who's huge, but also lifts really heavy weight. Like, you know, that's where I think the answer isn't always like what kind of training that you're doing. It's more so, is the training that you're doing like not only conducive with your goals, but like, does it resonate with you personally where you're excited to do it? You know, like that's an argument that doesn't get taken into account sometimes, when it's like, well, is this training style better than this training style? And it's just so involved and like personal and like kind of emotional too. Like, you've got to put this into your routine, that I don't think there's a specific answer, you know. So I'm trying not to like let myself say a specific like take, because it's so variable, you know. Some guys like different things and sometimes get better results from different things. Like, it's more so I can say, okay, what are the criteria of guys who really get it done? Well, they work out every day, or nearly every day, or they do their cardio every day. Like, they're very consistent. Whether they're an everyday guy, maybe you're like a 5-day week, whatever their weekly routine is, they do it every week. So that's one, they're very consistent. I think they care about their diet. Maybe not in the sense that, like, you know, they'll never touch a GMO, or they'll never eat anything with Red 40, but like, they make sure they get proper protein intake, they're hitting all their micronutrients, you know, they're taking their men's vitamin gummy every day. Like, they care. They're hydrated, so we can count that, you know, those two. So consistent, well fed, well dieted, well hydrated, well rested. You know, they don't sleep 3 hours a day. They get at least, I don't know, maybe even 7. You can run off 7. 7's a good baseline number. 8 might be, I mean, you know, we've all been there. And honestly, like, and then there's the fifth element, the X factor. They're just, you know, they're excited about what they're doing, right? They like it. They want to do it. They don't have to be pushed. They push themselves. So no matter what specific thing that they're doing, if all those factors line up, well, shit, man, I can probably guarantee that I want to listen to what this guy has to say and hear his opinion and hear his experiences and take on training, because those are the factors that I think really matter, you know, and then everything else will fall into place. Because if you do care about your progress, then, you know, if you're already doing all these other things, you're going to try and optimize your routine, and try new things and work out in different ways and try different splits and everything, and then you'll just see what works. Just as long as they're not stagnant. The one variable that isn't here is plateauedness, is stagnancy, is just like stillness. Like they're always kind of like looking for what's next, if I had to describe that kind of guy. So if you know somebody like that, or somebody just popped into your mind who you think of as like, oh yeah, that one guy in my chemistry class, he always walks in with, he's got a meal of rice and turkey. I see him at the rec center sometimes. He's pretty serious. And that might be a guy to try to emulate, Not because, you might think that you need to be better than someone else, but more so if you see someone who's ahead of you in something, well, then odds are he's got some intel, he's got some experience, he's got some whatever that you could just, maybe emulate and kind of resonate with. I think that's a positive mentality to look at it. But yeah, so I'm going to enjoy this gloomy day. I was about to say, it's not too gloomy. It's pretty gloomy. But that's all right. That is all freaking right. And then I will see you tomorrow for something. I'll see you tomorrow for something.